WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. We are celebrating. This is a big week around here. I'm not doing a lot of radio this week. I'm only having some selected guests on because it's our 31st anniversary. It's the holidays. Over the next couple of weeks here at AM 1570, you're going to be hearing 31 years of some of the greatest hits as I go through them. You're going to be finding them out at BaltimorePositives.com. And we're going to be getting ready for the Atlanta game. We're going to be getting ready for the Steelers game through the holidays as well. But we got some news around here. First things first, 31st anniversary. We're going to be at Costas on Thursday. The holiday cash drops brought to you by the Maryland Lottery. Be giving those away, as well as our friends at Goodwill and Window Nation, 866-90Nation. You buy two, you get two free, and 0% financing. I don't know how the people at Window Nation gave you a better deal than they gave me, but it's there. Take advantage of it through the holidays as well. And celebrating 31 years, we're going to have the Queen of Dundalk, Gina Shock, the Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, is going to be coming down and banging the skins with us, along with some Hammerjacks folks, some Costas folks, as well as my dear friend John Allen, riding shotgun and co-hosting with me from Child's Play. And they're putting Child's Play together again for M3 down at Merriweather, and that's going to be in May. We have a new football coach right here, and we always say WNST Towson, Baltimore. We're one of the rare Towson radio stations here. Towson University has a new head coach, and I saw the name and I said, Shinnick, man, my dad loved Don Shinnick, and sure enough, Pete Shinnick is a legacy, as they would say in Animal House, back here at Towson. Born here and back coaching football. Pete Shinnick joins us now. He's the new head coach of all things Towson Tigers football. And I'm surprised, man. You got to be busy this time of year, taking new gig, new office, new everything, recruit, like all the things going on. I appreciate you taking a little time. Welcome, I guess, home, right? I mean, you would say that, right?
Yeah, it's been a great journey, and really throughout my life, people have always asked me, where are you from? And, the first answer is, well, I was born in Baltimore.
And that's where you're from. Take
exactly. But being the son of a football coach, moving around quite a bit, living in different states, it was always like, well, where I'm from is where, I was born, but then where am I living now? And lived in a ton of states, been up to a lot of places. So to now be able to say, hey, I am from Baltimore, I live here, fired up to have this opportunity.
So if I'm sitting next to you on an airplane and we're just BSing and the cocktail lady comes by and we're going to talk if I said to you, all right, we're from Baltimore, and I'd say, well, tell me about your dad. Tell me about because this really, when I think of you, and I've never spoken to you before, I think any guy your age, and you seem to be my age, that had a dad that my dad went in the 60s and was there for all the Colts action and all that. And I went to Colts games in the 70s, and I always tell Stan White and Bruce Laird when I see him around town, and the late, great Tom Maddie when I would see him, that I saw those guys play when I was a little boy. Give me your experience with that. I mean, is the Colts fight song in your head from being a boy like it is for me, which is now the Ravens fight song, by the way?
Well, yeah. So for me, it's really, I kind of lived a little bit through my brothers as I got older, so I was born here in 65, and, the last end of my dad's career, most of really what I remember is through photos and ESPN football, right? Because, I turn on ESPN Classic and see the Colts in training camp and some sort of documentary that they're doing and watching games.
Shula's got a whistle and shorts on, right? Exactly.
Yeah, same deal. And so, as my brothers were a little older, kind of experiencing camp and all that type of stuff, as I grew up, it was just kind of like, oh man, what an amazing time for my dad to be a part of the Baltimore Colts. And that run, and then you start learning the history, and Lenny Moore, Raymond Berry's one of my dad's best friends, Johnny Unitas, and to have the opportunity to be in Unitas Stadium could be the coolest part of this whole process right here. So to coach in Johnny Unitas Stadium now is an awesome opportunity. So with that, it was always just a blast to, see all that, learn all that. And that era of the Colts, I mean, just the names that we've mentioned and the success that they had, it was a fantastic time. And so it has been so fun here, last 48 hours, however long I've been in town, to just, reminisce with certain people about that and the memories of so many people of the great Colts teams.
I guess you're drinking from the fire hose, taking a new gig, and you don't have to play football for like 8 or 9 months. You're good, right?
Yeah.
Give me this transitional period for you because, I've gotten to know Steve a little bit over there, and there's so much change happening at Towson, right? I mean, Dr. Schatzel's leaving now to go to Louisville. I know tons of people. I mean, Mike Gathigan and all the fun. I lectured with Ron Snyder's journalism class. I was on campus about 3-4 weeks ago over there talking about
Nice.
free speech and talking about media with a journalism class. So, and I'm in Towson. I'm going by the campus all the time. Give me your association to all of this because you're off coaching. And by the way, your old school took your bio down. I had to go to Azusa Pacific University to get a full bio on you. But this transition part and I was born in '68, so you're a couple years older than me. You get into this point in your 50s, you're taking a gig, you're moving, you hear about this, you put the resume in or whatever. Give me your pathway of the last 3 to 6 months here from coaching football to winding up with a job that maybe is a pinch me moment for you, right? Like if 6 months ago you'd have said you've been celebrating Christmas here in Baltimore being the head coach of Towson, I think you would probably think you've had a hell of a year.
Well, heck yeah, amazing time. So, in getting ready, 2022 season, we felt like we had a great chance to have a really good football program. And we were able to, I think, maximize the guys that we had and use them to really a high level, making it to the Final Four and really playing, I thought, great football throughout the course of the season. So then while that's happening, saw that this job had opened and, kind of just said, this is a program that I've really followed since the national championship run that they made. As that kind of, sparked my attention of, oh my gosh, that's right where I was born. I know that area. And okay, here's a university. So I've really kind of been following the university last 10 years and just did a little bit of a deeper dive, obviously, to say, hey, this is where, I'd love to have an opportunity to coach. But as the deeper dive took place, just, man, what the growth that's taken place, the construction that's happening, just the excitement on campus. Was extremely impressed with Steve through this process, his organization, his vision for where this university athletic department can go. You look at the new basketball arena, you look at some of the upgrades that have taken place, and I just felt like this was a great opportunity. I think the football program, we've got some work to do. We got some things that we need to address and get done. But, it's been a whirlwind the last 2 weeks, to say the least, in coaching in a game, to then getting the opportunity to be the head coach, to getting on a plane, meeting with the players Monday night, spending a lot of time with staff and players over the course of the last couple of days, doing donor calls, talking to football alumni, doing the press conference, and then, be here this morning with you.
West Florida, tell me about that. I'm not as familiar, and I guess a lot of folks became familiar with Towson almost 10 years ago when Rob took him into the finals. And Rob really built a program here, built something that I think everyone took note of at one point. And I guess a decade later, it's your job to resurrect that. But tell me what you learned at West Florida and how that relates to Towson from a recruiting standpoint, football standpoint. If West Florida were to play Towson, how would that have looked for you with the quality of players you're at? And obviously different place here. When you're down in Florida, they're growing football players everywhere. Recruiting up here is probably a little bit different.
No, it is, but it's a very fertile recruiting ground here. I mean, almost every coach in America is coming through this area, kind of like Florida. So I think there's a lot of really good football players in this area, and there's a lot of really good high school football coaches as well, which produce a very quality product of teams that we've watched play and that we've seen play. I think you compare, what we did there. We started from scratch, built the program from the ground up, and we're able to, have some success early. I think what Rob was able to do, when he took over, get the program to that place. And I think anybody who makes a run to the national championship, I think that's a heck of a deal, because that is not easy. Haven't been to the playoffs numerous times, been blessed to make it to the semifinals a handful of times, but also have had some first round exits and second round exits. So anytime you can get a team. So what Rob did, back, about 10 years ago was, a great job. I think the biggest thing that I learned through the process is, each year is brand new and each year has its own challenges and each year has its own set of circumstances and situations that need to be met and need to be taken care of. And so we really kind of went with, last year was nice, but this year's brand new. So we're going into approach this year here that we've got a lot of work to do. We've got some, I think some really good guys that are here. We need to build on them. We need to continue to develop them, need to continue to grow this program to where I think this city and this university will be extremely proud of the product that we put out there.
It's always fun to be over at Johnny Unitas Stadium on Saturdays in the fall, sometimes on Saturday nights as well. He is the new coach of the Towson Tigers. Pete Shinnick joins us here. He's just drinking from the fires. I had to look up West Florida. I'm like, West Florida, is that Tampa or is that Naples? No, Pensacola. And I'm thinking to myself, man, Phil Savage beat me up for years to come down to the Senior Bowl and eat some Reese's peanut butter cups down there in Mobile and Spanish Fort and Fairhope and all. One thing you're not going to have at Towson, I know. Listen, I've been here my whole life. I used to chase the girls at Towson 30. They called it the beach out there, but there's no beach at Towson, right? I mean, you had a pretty good gig down there. Pensacola was beautiful and building the program down there, but I don't know that I would have been able to play any football. I would have been too busy at the beach if I'd have been in Fort Walton or Destin every day, eating oysters probably.
Oh yeah, no, there's a lot of that. When you recruit a guy, you got to be careful what you're recruiting him to. Is he coming to play football for you? Is he coming to go hang out at the beach? Because beaches are beautiful. That whole panhandle is gorgeous. We loved our time in Pensacola. It is a great place. Very difficult to leave, but really felt like this opportunity would give us a great chance to build something again and kind of start this program back to where I think our fans, our alumni, want it to be.
Well, Pensacola can't be bad. Jimmy Buffett wrote songs about it, so it's all good. For you coming home and being a part of this, when's the last time you really spent appreciable time here? I know you have old friends here and like that, but you say, where are you from? I was born in Baltimore. This journey home for you and when this job became available, what were the first things you're thinking about when I might get this gig and be on Nestor's show in a couple of weeks in Towson and be calling it home? What about this really called to you and said, this is the right job for you?
Well, it's interesting because, my brothers, we started talking about it, and then it's like, okay, live right down the road from campus on Pleasant Plains Drive, a couple miles from campus. So you started looking and you're like, okay, it was that close. I was right there. That's where I was born. We came back, I don't know, about 12, 15 years ago. Can't remember when it was. Came back when I was in high school, I think, or right in college. So been around the area a couple times, but had never really been on campus. So was extremely impressed and still, haven't seen the entire campus. Still extremely impressed with what I see and what's here. And it's just been a fun journey. Like you say, drinking from a fire hose, that's about what this whole process has been. And going quick, got a lot of work to do, trying to get some staff on board. So hopefully we can make some announcements of some of the first hires and continue to build this, and then start the process with recruiting as to, where it was with the previous staff, pick that up, and then kind of put our flavor and touch on that thing as we continue to evaluate guys.
Man, your Buffalo's got a new coach too, right around the same time you came aboard, right? I had Chad Brown. Chad and I are very close. I had him on a couple weeks ago. We played the Broncos. I had him on the show, and Dion hadn't taken the gig there yet. But I just must say, I can't have a guy on without saying, I've been all over the world, and I have never been anywhere where I drove into a town, and it was a little Mork and Mindy moment, right, with Boulder, Colorado, where you pull it with the house is there too, but you pull into town, and I'm thinking, when we drove in, I said to my wife, I said, how in the world are we going to leave this place? Boulder, Colorado is this beautiful place. And I can't imagine how beautiful it must have been back in the 80s when you were playing ball there.
Oh, it's a gorgeous place. It was unbelievable. I mean, my dorm room, if you looked out the window, I mean, you could see the Flatirons and, snow, no snow. I mean, just a gorgeous setting. I think Folsom Field, you sit on the side facing the Flatirons. That's as good a view as there is in college football. That's a very unique setting. It's gorgeous.
You've coached everywhere, man. This has been quite a journey for you. Welcome home, I should say. And we'll be out supporting you guys and putting the Tiger head on and talking about games and talking about recruits and all that. So for you, the next couple months, what is the life of a coach when you settle in here in a new gig? Obviously, just getting to know your own people, right?
Yeah, that's really it. Spent a lot of time. Have had a team meeting, had a senior meeting, met with each position group yesterday. Got some individual meetings with some players in just trying to connect with them. Really want them to know that I'm here for them, and the staff that I bring in will be here for them, doing everything that we can to make this a great experience for them. Trying to learn how the process works here, the system here, what's available for our players, how we can make the most of that, and then getting set up, finishing up staff, getting some guys hired, doing that process, and then really, we will spend obviously a tremendous amount of time recruiting, but at the same time, I want to make sure that the guys here know that we're here for them. So as we get coaches in, have the opportunity for them to connect, have the opportunity for them to, know who's going to be coaching them. I really want, they're taking finals right now. I really want our guys before they go home to understand that, we're here for them and we got a great plan for them.
All right. Well, I got a great plan for you. It's a burrito quesadilla at Nacho Mama's right there with all the old. You can see the old COLTS. It's so if you haven't been to Nacho Mama's in Towson, it's a little bit of a history tour. I've even got the little Bob Irsay dummy that sits in the corner there, right behind the rum, right behind the vodka, where he belongs, behind the bar. But come on over and we'll enjoy. And certainly, I was out with my wife it was September. Towson was playing Morgan, and we were just out watching a football game and a baseball game. The Orioles were playing that night. We're in the race this year, and we were just sitting at the bar, and all of a sudden the whole Towson Pep squad came in. Cheerleaders, Tiger, pennants, all that kind of stuff. And I love to see the spirit around Towson, especially living in Towson and working in Towson now. I'm a Towson resident, for crying out loud. So I'm looking forward to getting together with you and promote some football next season. So congratulations. Put your working hat on and go get yourself a staff and enjoy your holiday here at home for the holidays. It's like they wrote songs about that, Coach.
There you go. No, hey, thank you for having me on. I'm fired up to be here. Excited to spend some time with you in the future. Appreciate the support, and thank you for giving me the time to be with you.
I hope they get your bio up there at the Towson University website so I can read the whole thing. I don't have to go to Azusa Pacific from 2009. Coach Pete Shinnick, he's the new head coach of all things Towson Tigers football. They're a little ways away from playing, but we're in the season here. Luke is in Owings Mills doing all things Ravens, getting us ready for not just Browns, but also Falcons. And we're going to be doing a little bit of best stuff around here through the holidays. So if you put me on and you hear me talking to Billy Joel or David Bowie or Art Donovan or Art Modell or Cal Ripken or could be anyone the next couple of weeks, enjoy that. And I'm obviously very easy to find. Ness at BaltimorePositive.com. Celebrating 31 years, we're going to be over Costas doing the Maryland Crab Cake Tour, final Crab Cake Tour stop of 2022. We're going to be there with Rock and Roll Hall of Famer Gina Shock from the Go-Go's, as well as John Allen, our Hammerjacks friends. Going to be a big hootenanny. We had so much fun last week down at Fadley's with Dan Rodricks, as well as Roz Lane from the Lottery and my friend David Etliff from the Baltimore Sun as well. Make sure you're shipping those crab cakes to places like Pensacola, where they can't get them. They're a click away. Our friends at Fadley's, Costas, Pappas, Conrad's, all of our local sponsors shipping crab cakes right now. And nothing makes the heart happier when you don't live here. And Pete knows about this. When you can't get a fresh crab cake, but he can now. But you can ship them all week long. Get on that this week so you get them there for Christmas Eve. I am Nestor. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. And we never stop talking Baltimore positive.